I have very mixed feelings about it. First, I think that Mr. McKee and the Crime Commission made a great error when they broke it first in the press and then decided to brief the chief of police and the city council members later on it. And if I may explain that, I would say by breaking it in the press, if the accusations and allegations are true, then all of the sources in the prostitution ring have gone underground, and an investigation by the police department is almost impossible at this time because of this.
Then do you feel that perhaps the Crime Commission is not serving the purpose for which it was formed?
I think it's very doubtful that they are, because it seems to me that it has become a one-man operation. I know that the board of directors contains a great many concerned citizens of Dallas, but I do believe that they have turned it over to one man and that he is operating it as he sees fit. I would visualize the Crime Commission as being an adjunct to law enforcement within this city, and it doesn't seem, again, in my own opinion, to be serving as it should be.
What about the report itself? Are the contents of any value?
What I heard yesterday seemed to be more generalizations than actual information that the police department can use. But our chief of police, having only received the report yesterday, the file, has not, of course, had an opportunity to get into it in any depth as yet.
Is the report vague, or is it specific enough to be of any assistance to the police?
Phil, I haven't seen the report, of course, and all I could reply to in that context would be what I heard at the briefing yesterday. I think most of the charges were really very vague. Not too many names and not specific addresses and things of this sort.
Teal, that statement, if it was made, and I did not attend the meeting, if it was made, is grossly incorrect. The person who made that obviously is not aware of the facts in the situation.
Do your principals report what they know about narcotics and such?
Certainly, without a doubt. We are most pleased, in fact, we're very proud of the way our principals have handled not only this problem, but other potentially troublesome spots. The truth of the matter is that most of the information that's available to us today about some of these areas comes directly from our schools and from our principals. I'm sure that collectively we are much more aware of the things that are going on in our school system and in our city than most people perhaps are aware of.
Why then haven't you made more of this information aware to the public?
Well, Teal, to tell you the truth, if the real extent of our relationship with the law enforcement officials were known, then it would have a tendency to dry up our source of information. Some of the informal information that we are privy to at this point would no longer be available to us if people generally knew the kinds of things that we discuss on a very formal, informal, and a very confidential basis.
It is this area here where we're standing. This building, the point where President Kennedy was hit, that are of more historical importance to the people that visit the scene than anything else.
What about the building they have proposed and the memorial that they have proposed? What would this do to that?
Well, this would not in any way detract or take away. We have a memorial that is proposed in front of the old red courthouse, as you know, but that is in the form of a monument. That is not intended to house a museum. That is not intended to do what this bill that I have here would have the purpose of doing.
There's a very real possibility that the critical shortage of human blood may cost lives in Fort Worth and maybe in the not-too-distant future. Dr. Richard Halden of the Carter Blood Center today called the need for blood critical, saying the situation is potentially disastrous. A $2,000 grant has been awarded to encourage voter registration in Fort Worth's black communities. Dr. Marion Brook will head the committee charged with the project. He says no federal money is to be used. We talked yesterday, you may recall, with Leonard Blaylock, the executive director of the Texas Criminal Justice Council. We asked him about the availability of federal funds to aid local and state police activities. Today it was announced by Texas officials they will meet a December 19th deadline in applying for as much as $830,000 in federal funds to aid police work in Texas. Fort Worth police, meanwhile, are questioning 2 men in connection with a series of robberies over a 7-day period. And Haltom City police today arrested 2 men in the act of robbing a Haltom City finance company. It would appear that the annual Christmas gift lift has already begun. From Fort Worth, Jerry Taft, Channel 8 News.
I think the students, who in some cases are being manipulated by professional agitators, who are oftentimes communists, are entitled to have some of the rest of us identify these people for them so that if they do want to follow them and be manipulated by them, they at least do it with their eyes wide open. And so in order to try and help the students understand the motivation of some of the people who are encouraging them to violence, we have published the report, which is a very factual report, naming some of these agitators, and also in connection with the report, we released photographs showing these named agitators at the various demonstrations, especially those that turned into some kind of violence. I think it's fairly obvious that the Agitation and Propaganda Department of the Russian Communist Party is very busy all over the world. And our people would be pretty naive not to think that they, or to believe that they are not spending money in this nation